What up? Welcome to Tempo.
Yo,
Yeah.
what's going on, y'all? Can you keep up? Hold on,
So,
let me just take one drink really quickly before I introduce what we're talking about.
is that a Pepsi or a Bud Light?
It is a non-specific bev. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. It's definitely Pepsi. All right. So
Pepsi
okay, so we're
Cola.
just jumping straight into this. So I'm probably have that wrong spelled. We have the verdict.
Chauvin.
Chauvin. Yeah, and the Derek Chauvin trial. If you do not know, Derek Chauvin was the police officer who leaned on George Floyd's neck and ultimately led to his death. And that's the way I'm phrasing it because that's the way it was phrased in the court.
Yep.
How do I think about Chauvin?
He was found guilty on all three accounts that they had him up for, which was, I believe, second degree, third degree, and second degree manslaughter, I believe. So my thoughts, just off the top of my head, are I'm just kind of glad that America finally decided to do something that was like the correct verdict for once, because like it seems like a lot of times the police unions just get involved. And it doesn't really matter whether the guy was justified or not, or at that point, it's just the police union lawyers or whatever winning.
Yeah, he should have been locked up. It don't matter if he's black or white. Anybody who did that should be locked up, especially if you're given the authority to do something. Like you're given the privilege of being somebody to serve the people, and you do something that it don't matter if you're black, white, Chinese, American, whatever. If you do that, you should pay the consequences for that. I know I damn sure I would. So it ain't just about being white. It's about being a police officer and somebody who's been given a privilege and a responsibility of taking care of the people. And you're supposed to be more conscious of what you're doing to do that and not be showing off with your hands in your pockets. You get I'm not God, so I can't judge nobody, but that's been going on a lot. And it's ridiculous. It shouldn't even happen like that.
Okay.
Because if it was a black cop on a white dude's neck, they'd probably storm the Capitol again.
That's what irritates me more, to be honest. And
yeah, probably. Yeah, you're probably right, Phil. It probably would be a bunch of people like Trump supporters like that again. Yeah.
Well, and I don't have to deal with that for myself, but for me personally, like I feel like it's a person, whether he's black, white, Asian, Indian, doesn't matter. It's still a person that got killed.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually a great opportunity.
And you watched him die.
Yeah, I mean that was the craziest part of it. I think like that was the most wild, and that's why it was so undeniably like this has to go a certain way.
Like
because it was just so obvious on video. If you watched it, it was 9 minutes of a guy being choked.
Yeah, he died slow. He didn't die fast. He died.
No, and it was. Slow. I mean, hearing the fuck. I'm swearing on the show. Hearing the video, I already said it, so it doesn't matter. Fuck it anyway. But demonetized. But anyway, but like seeing and hearing the horrific things that he was like screaming, essentially, but not he couldn't scream obviously because his mouth was there, his throat was obviously closed up, but like trying to scream for help, literally like for his mother. I mean, like it was horrific, like it's just crazy to me, Like I can't believe it. And that's why it was so nuts because it was so public, you know what I mean? Like, and like there've been other situations where there've been groups of people like that, but like we're in the era of phones being in everyone's pockets with a camera on them now. So it's just as soon as this happened, it went everywhere, So it's like
right, and it's the era of politically correctness. So even as showing out, sometimes sometimes you play too much. In the wrong way and play too much. If he's trying to be funny by putting his hands in his pocket towards those people, is something like that has to be discussed. But like I say, people have to start taking responsibility too for themselves. It shouldn't have been that many people around him recording. It shouldn't have been that many witnesses, and he died.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like to me, the craziest part of it to me is and continues to be. How there were still people trying to sit there and defend Derek Chauvin, and like I got into literal arguments with people about how this was somehow injustice. This verdict was somehow injustice, and I'm just like, I don't.
There's no way I would be sitting there like if all three of us were somewhere and somebody had their foot on your neck, and I would be sitting there recording, like, take your foot off his neck. I'd be like, I would have like, it's no way in the hell. I would have just said that. I would have been like I probably, but then once it got to that, I'd have been like, no, I'm like, you gotta let him go. I'm like, forget that. I would have probably I would have been restrained.
Well,
that's what say. Here's what would have happened, because there were 3 other scared cops there. They would have just shot. I mean, I'm saying, like, that's all it would have. There would be 2 dead people.
They would have restrained me, like, no matter what.
I don't know, man. If you run up on a cop while he's in the middle of,
if you were down there and
somebody, I don't know, 3 scared cops,
and I see you stop talking and breathing, I would have walked up and tapped him on the shoulder and been like, or I would have pushed him like, hey man, I would have gotten in trouble. Like, I wouldn't, ain't no way I could, like, my emotions.
No, man, it was a pretty intense situation, and there were 3 unexperienced new cops that were all young guys. You would have been shot. You would have been shot. I'm sorry. Anyone that thinks they can just run up on the situation, you would have died, like 100%. Like, there'd be 2 dead people now instead of 1, maybe 1 still, but it would still be 1 dead person unjustifiably. Like, that's the thing that would have happened. Someone was going to die that day unjustifiably. Obviously, that's what that group of cops wanted to happen, or it wouldn't have happened.
It don't matter. They was talking about Mason people. I would have been like, no, you got to stop now. I'm like, hey, I'd have been so close. I'd have been like, back up. I'm like, no. Like, he would have had to get off his neck to push me back.
Yeah, it sucks.
Like, he would have had to get out. Like, he would have had to get off his neck for 10 seconds at least to push me back. Like, back up off me now. Look, I'm restrained. Like, he would at least, like, I would at least walked up that, like, just my natural personality. See somebody, but even still, people should still be able to sit back and trust them to do the right job that they're supposed to do without that overbearing, consequence of what happens. So you can't knock them for not doing that. Like you said, you could get shot at that instant. But
I mean, I wouldn't want to get. If I was standing around, I would literally not intervene, because I know, especially as a I'm 6 foot myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a big dude. I would be a relatively imposing figure in that situation. You know what I mean?
If Chauvin had his knee on your mama's neck and sitting there doing that,
different though.
And no, it's not different.
Derek Chauvin wasn't any of that people's mother.
All right. Well, listen, what I'm saying is,
or brother, or sister, or cousin, or even friend.
People that was out there as family. So if he had his neck on your mom's neck and was sitting there like with his hands in his pocket, like, back up, what would you have done? Like, would you have just sat there like and videotape? Like, what would you have done?
I have no idea, to be honest with you, because I wasn't in that situation. But I mean, like,
in there and like maybe tackle the guy. But the problem is, you don't know how you're going to handle a situation until you're in that situation.
Yep, you're right.
That's the truth.
Freeze up. I mean,
and that's probably what happened to every single person that was there. They just didn't believe what they were seeing.
I mean, there was even like years ago when there was a shooting where it was white on black. Like, they brought in somebody from the NAACP to the police and said, here, we're going to give you a situation, and this is kind of like the situation that you're protesting about. They took him through it. He killed 2 people in the same situation.
And he let one guy that was supposed to not. He didn't kill one guy that was supposed to be.
Yes.
The actual threat that they presented out of the 3 options was the one he failed on. I mean, so it's like,
not that I feel anybody dying, anybody, getting killed the way that happened, like that guy, that definitely should not have happened. But I mean, it's just like when people say you can't judge a person until you walk in their shoes. You can't. Until you're in that situation, you don't know what's going to happen.
Actually, a brilliant transition to our next topic, which is this is insane that this is even a news story to me. Not that it's a news story, but that this is still like a big deal.
Yeah.
So like, COVID literally is causing more, but not COVID. Let me rephrase this so it doesn't come off the wrong way. COVID has caused a rise. Yeah, genuinely, there's statistics to suggest this is correct too. That's why there's been like 2 or 3 shootings against Asians, I want to say, that were pretty publicized this year.
Talking about the one where the dude went through the nail salons and was just shooting people.
There was another one that day. Not even a joke. Tony, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe there was another shooting against Asians the same day.
Yes.
like the same day there was like 2 different dudes that went out and did like mega hate crimes on the same day because they wanted to.
A lady that was in front of like her building or one of the buildings in New York, and some guy came up and just started beating on her, and like the doorman just stood there and watched it, and people just stood around watching it and didn't do anything.
Well, you know, that's crazy. Like, you know, Young Jeezy just married the Asian girl off the reel. What's her name?
Who? What?
I'm not sure. But either way, I mean, like
I'm just saying. I'm just
no, I know. I get it. I try to put a positive spin, but like it's like, yeah, that you'd think like you see stuff like that in popular culture now, and you're like, and the 3 of us probably sit there, and when we see an Asian person, we probably just think, oh, an Asian person, if we even think that at all. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
the only thing I think when I see an Asian person, I'm sorry, I'm not racist, but I think they know karate. Like I mean,
I guess that's the least aggressive form of racism you could have, right? Like,
that's the only thing.
Hold on, that's not really racist though.
That's just insensitive and like stereotype. Like that's all it really is.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
That's like me saying, Phil, I know you like fried chicken and watermelon. Like I don't feel that's racist.
There's just a different connotation in America with Phil.
No, I mean, I do.
Saying that,
that's not right. But no, I automatically think if I be like, "What you want to do, punk?" They're gonna be like,
I mean, like some of them might. I mean, there are some white people that'll do that too.
I don't think they're gonna be like, "Come on." I think they're like, I don't think they're gonna be like, "Come on." If I walk up and slap, they're gonna be like,
"Yeah," but
I don't think they're gonna be like, or they're gonna be like, I automatically in my brain think if you get into it with a tough Asian person, it's like, "Leave me alone." You be like, "No, I'm gonna kick your ass." They're gonna be like.
I mean, like, here's the funny thing is, like, now I feel like at some point in your life, you're going to almost get into a fight with a white dude or even, you know what? Screw it. It'd be kind of funny if it was literally like another black dude, he did that, and then you fought an Asian person and he did the most hood stance ever, you know what I mean? Like,
you know like, you'd be like, what you say? What? Like, but I mean, that's like, I'm not racist. I'm just saying, you know like when I think of like that's the only thing I think about Asians. Like honestly, when I think about starting a fight with them, I think they're gonna be like
I don't understand how because COVID started in Asia, this somehow results in like people feeling justified in like attacking, literally killing Asian people. You know what I mean? Like the Asian, the statistics on like beatings against like elderly Asian women have gone up like 80% or something ridiculous. Yeah, there was people going around beating up elderly Asian women. Like. I don't know, that might just be me misremembering like a couple of stories together, but like the idea being that could even be real is ridiculous, you know, like.
But it's different type of Asians. Like that's another thing too. That's another thing too with Asians.
But you know what the difference is, Phil? The people that are doing the racism generally don't care. So,
but do you know the difference between a Filipino and Vietnamese, Chinese and Japanese? Like, if you see them, can you say what they are?
Me personally, I mean, I would be able to make the distinction based off of a few like differences in the tone of the skin, right, and a few different like the melanin levels. You know what I mean? But besides that, no. I mean, there are South Asians that look a little darker than Northern Asians.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be like. But like you say, it should be the same thing with everybody.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm dancing around a minefield here, but like no would be my answer. But I didn't.
But see, people putting race as a category. See, the first thing that I think messes everything up with race is application. Application says, like, you're a United States citizen. It says, are you United? Only thing it shouldn't say your ethnicity. Are you black, Asian, Chinese, white? Why? Listen, why does it
says that it says that for purposes
applications? No, why should it say your ethnicity when it doesn't fucking matter? You're a United States citizen.
It will say whether you get the job or not.
Hold on. And that's
100%.
In that same sense, though, you have to keep in mind the NAACP looks at these things. Why do you think there are colleges that get sued because they don't let people in?
Yep.
Right. That's why. But see, I feel like the application should just say, are you a United States citizen or not?
I agree. No, I totally agree.
Yeah, no, we're not disagreeing. That's the reason, though.
These groups, and it's black, white, all groups, want to make sure that everybody has the chance to apply for a job. And then they're going to look at that and go, well, why are no black people applying for this job?
Exactly. But if they didn't ask for ethnicity, they wouldn't even know they were black when they looked at their application.
Right,
yes,
and their thing.
And that's the argument they would make, is that if we didn't ask, then we would never know if there's.
And see, the reason because of that is because some people have the options to choose if they don't want that ethnicity to work for them.
Right.
Just like even Asians in their restaurants, if you're not right, Asian, they don't want you to work for them.
But that's not right, though, right? Like
it's true. Like really, in the Asian community, if you're not Asian, they don't want you to, like, say you go to try to work for
I mean, morally right.
Have you ever seen a black person working in hibachi, or
one time, yes,
or a white person working in hibachi, or anybody of another ethnicity working
at the sake that's down in like
sake,
Uber,
like
that's a Japanese. It's a straight up Japanese restaurant. A lot of Asian people work there, I'm sure, but there's a bunch of regular people that work there too, because it's a grill place, so you could teach somebody how to do that.
Right, but majority of that, do you see them working in there, or better yet, even a Mexican restaurant? Do you ever seen anyone non-Mexican working there?
Well, it really depends. Sometimes, yes, it really depends on those.
That's what I'm saying. Racism goes on both sides. It goes on both sides of the fence. The only people it don't make a difference to, I feel, right now in America, really are black people and white people. So you have to look at like the things that cause this.
Do you see Asian people in those restaurants usually? That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm getting at here. Like, you've nailed the problem, which is that there are very discriminatory hiring practices everywhere in this country. You know,
right? And it comes from both sides of the field, not just from white people and black people, because. And honestly, at extravagant white companies and extravagant black companies, you'll see both of them working there. Yep. Like you'll see, like, because they're fully American. But then you see these people from other countries, which I'm not knocking. I mean, I understand that, but you can't. But at the same time, they have to lose their unselfishness on hiring Americans, because, like, I go to Vietnamese restaurant, it's all Vietnamese working there. I go to
a class distinction that we have to make as well, guys.
I mean, it's true.
Which is that there are certain people and certain classes of people in this
country. Not that they should be abused though, or beat up or nothing. But like, you go to an Asian restaurant, like the people running around shooting people in Asian nail shops. Everybody that got shot on the hate crime was Asian. And you know, not trying to put nothing in, but like, wow, there was no black people or white people working there.
Well, the guy specifically went out of his way to target Asian places where there was a lot of Asian people that worked there. By the way, I did look into this. There were non-Asians that worked at these places.
It's because they take care of their own things. Just like now, with the most, I think, migrated or more that's starting to get more mature. I mean, as another race coming out is like Islamic. Like you go to gas stations now, it'd be Indians in there, but they be having black people, white people working in their restaurants now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or in they gas stations. You know what I'm saying? They're starting to get more integrated.
There's a gas
station. Their kids
are
becoming integrated too, because they put their businesses in urban communities, which causes their kids to be raised in urban communities and get justified. So they're starting to get a little bit more mixed. As Asians are too, as you can see, like the best example to see how Asians are getting integrated is like through MMA and rap. I think because like you see a lot of
amazing Asian rappers out there,
right? They're being integrated like Asians through rap and like MMA fighting and things like that.
Yeah, big MMA fighters for sure. Yeah, because think about it, like they made up all the fake martial arts, so of course they're gonna be good at the real ones. Now that they've got some real ones, you know what I mean? Like, and I say fake because that's what MMA fighters will say. They're still real martial arts. They just wouldn't necessarily work in the UFC. You know what I mean? But I say that somebody won with a Wing Chun punch once, so I guess I'm wrong. But you know, like, which is
but I'm only like I say, I'm not racist, but I automatically think an Asian person knows karate, and I'd be like, I don't know. I just like I was, but you know what? Most of them are trained into that stuff. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't say most. I would say as many people as probably any other group of people, right? But like, maybe a 1% difference. I don't even want to say that though, because it's probably not accurate. But like, yeah, I mean, and traditionally speaking, I think even over there, that wasn't like a super common thing to necessarily learn, because it's a skill. You know what I mean? So it's not like while the military probably teaches those martial arts, just like the South Korean military the Israeli military teaches Krav Maga. You know what I mean? They probably teach some of that stuff, but they also probably teach what works, like our military does. You know what I mean? Like,
But like I say, the Asian hate does it's no reason to hate on Asians because Asians don't do nothing but put their business in the community and make it affordable, just like they do with people buying things overseas. Like when you get stuff that says made in China, when you get it made in China, you get a better price, and unfortunately, you get a better quality.
That's the crazy thing. If people will sit there and tell you Chinese products are cheap and badly made, except that we only use Chinese products for basically everything.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and foreign cars run a lot longer than American cars. I'm sorry. In my opinion,
that's on purpose, by the way. We do that to ourselves so that we can make you buy more cars.
I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody think about me. Foreign cars run way better. I still got a Mitsubishi now from 2000. It runs the air conditioner work, the heater work, the engine work. It's not knocking. It's going, and then no maintenance to it, nothing, and it runs. It's been hit twice and still goes. I had a Nissan Altima. That car never died. I had a Mr. 2 that you could kickstart that mother like Fred Flintstone. It was a stick shift.
So
I had a Camaro for 3 years. Man, the whole engine almost went out.
Okay. All right. So we have one more big story to get to. Everything else is just kind of after that, it's kind of up in the air. And I just want to get to this so that we can get all three of these in. So Johnson & Johnson's having some issues with their vaccine. So I had heard about this a little bit before, and it had been a news story, but they tried to play it down a lot. I got my first shot 2 weeks ago, personally, myself.
That's why your pecs look big. You've been working out too. Tony been working out.
The second, yep.
You've been working out. You do look like your pecs look like you look your chest. Hold on, been working out a little bit. It look like you've been working out a little bit. Oh, that Johnson & Johnson got steroids in
it. I got Pfizer, just so we're clear.
Yeah, I got the Moderna myself.
Gotcha. When you going, Phil?
I drink some orange juice.
Okay. All right.
Well, look, I know people that took the vaccine and still caught corona.
Yes, there ain't no guarantees.
It's a 92%, dude. It's not 100%.
No, it's not 92%. If I know somebody that caught it,
so that's 1%. Do you know how that works?
Yeah, that's not even. It's less than 1% actually, because there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people.
But they just recalled the Johnson & Johnson because.
Oh yeah, let me get back. I kind of got distracted. Yeah, so yeah, there was a news story that came out a while ago, honestly, where they're like, yeah, the Johnson & Johnson's causing blood clots, and they really tried to play it down, and because they didn't want to freak people out that were trying to get it, because they were still vaccinating people with this stuff, so they didn't want to freak people out. And I don't have the details. Does anybody off the top of their head know the exact details? I know there were some women that had some blood clotting issues in one specific vaccination center somewhere. And they shut down all the vaccinations of J&J from that location.
Recalled the Johnson.
Yeah, entire batch. Yeah, because there was a bunch of them or something that were contaminated because of an incorrect. I'd heard this other thing. There's been some problems with the vaccinations. There's been mixes of doses that were incorrect.
You do look up one more stocky. Which one would you take? I might go take that one.
This is crazy to me, that we even had this problem. And it makes you worried because you're especially if you're someone that's already gotten part of one of the vaccines or something, you're if that's what happens with J&J, what happens if 3 months from now the same kind of stuff comes out about the one I got, and then who knows what happens to me,
Pfizer, was it Pfizer? Pfizer came out, the CEO or whatever came out last week and said that most likely everyone will need a third shot next year sometime.
Well, they're also talking about yearly boosters. So, which is fair. It's not people act like that's a big, massive deal. If you're smart, you get a flu shot every year anyway. So,
why would you get a flu shot? I've not got one flu shot and I've never caught the flu.
Okay, I didn't either.
Right. That doesn't mean that you didn't catch the flu at some point, though. You just maybe didn't realize it, because I've been sick plenty of times without knowing where it came from or what it was, and never went to the actual doctor to get it diagnosed because it was just something that I could take care of. You know what I mean? So I think I might have had COVID at some point, guys. I'm going to be real. I got really, really sick in the middle of holiday 2019, and I was sick for about a month, and I didn't really I was managing to get through my life, but it was pretty brutal. And I'm pretty sure I had COVID at that time, but I don't actually know. But I'll never know because I just dealt with it. You know,
You had COVID. You had COVID-17.
it could have been one of the other strains. I think, but I think that might have been what it was. It was like another SARS strain because there was a bunch of them going around apparently, and this is just the one that like.
Well, I was gonna say, like, yeah, there is a bunch of different ones.
So it's like it could have been something like that because we do a lot of international business over there, you know. So and a lot of people coming in and out of the building. So I don't know, but you know, but no. I didn't say anything specific. Okay. Listen, they don't need other reasons to fire me. Trust me.
Ain't nobody coming over from international like coming to our center. Just so we clear.
Well, okay, but there are people that come down from the main office all the time that do interact with those people in Columbus all the time.
Well, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I might take the vaccine, but my job didn't offer me the money for it. And plus, Johnson, like my family took the vaccine and still called COVID. So I'm like, and it was like, we're not sick. But if I wouldn't have took the vaccine, then I wouldn't have been sick. But I'm like, how do you know that? Maybe it's safe to be sorry, but what if the vaccine they recall more? I'm like, now Tony, the one you took obviously made you lose a little weight, and like the stock. I'm like, so I'm taking a Moderna probably.
I would say they have got this thing down to a science. Like when I went to get my first shot, my appointment was at one time. I was in there and out of there in 15 minutes.
Same.
You had to take a second one.
And when I went to get my second one,
they didn't even have you wait to see if you reacted.
Well, yeah, I mean they.
Oh, that was the 15 minutes. I was like, wait, you were in and out in 15 minutes. I was about to say you got there and we're gone less time.
The second one that make you sick.
Well, no,
that's what they say. I actually was really tired after the first one.
Like I told them, I'm always freaking tired. So
yeah, same. I don't sleep enough. So I was like, was that even that, or was I just because I stayed up like 4 hours extra to go do it? You know what I mean? So it's like, and then I ended up taking the day off anyway. So it doesn't matter. I really wouldn't have known how it affected me unless I worked that day. But do you mind? You hear my cat? Anyway. I'm
like, who's yelling at?
Oh my gosh, the cat. Anyway, but yeah, no, I mean, like, it's so hard to stay focused when she's doing that. All right,
But yeah, like I got there, like walked in, they sent me to a
station.
The girl said, "Okay, I'm going to send you over to the other station." Went to the other station, got the shot, and they said, "All right, in 15 minutes you can leave." I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that's more or less what I did. I walked in. It was like a local medical, like not even clinic. It was just like a local, like I think they just were like a chapter of medical. You know, the people where they keep records and stuff like that of medical.
Like that. One I went to was like Kettering Health Network.
Well, I'm saying if everybody's vaccinated, how can I catch it?
Because they're vaccinated doesn't mean you can't catch it. Because, why not? Well, they could be carrying it.
It can reduce.
First of all, my daughter caught it twice.
Did he get a shot?
I don't know.
Might want to find that out because it'll inform a lot.
My parents got the shot. My parents got the shot and still caught it. Fortunately, they're alive. You know, nothing happened bad. They didn't get sick or nothing. But
by the way, guys, we have to point this out. Just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you can just go out and be like not following all these things.
What's the point of getting vaccinated?
Because that's not what prevents you from getting COVID.
But that's the point of getting vaccinated is so you can't catch it. If you get vaccinated and you can catch it.
I'm going to be real for a second. If you guys don't want to catch COVID, just stay inside for the next 10 years. Seriously.
This is what I'm saying. If you get vaccinated and you can still catch it, then what is the point of a vaccine? That's not a vaccination. That's a treatment.
Ain't no vaccination you ever got a guarantee.
Never. Like, and if it ever was, it was because it was such
chickenpox is smallpox.
Condoms. I got shots for chickenpox and I still got I was like 14.
Condoms is a perfect example. It is a COVID condom you're putting on and you're saying, I don't want to get COVID. And if you're still taking ridiculous risks and going out of your way to go do things you normally shouldn't do right now.
What about measles and your 2B shot like
there's a difference between diseases that are dead and died out and COVID. Mm-hmm. Nobody has that stuff anymore, and when they do,
the common code is called COVID-9. Google it. The common code is called COVID-9, and they have no cure for that.
Yeah, and I believe
they have NyQuil
because there's no cure for the common cold.
There's no cure for COVID.
It's not a cure.
It's not a cure. It's a treatment. They treat people until they're deemed healthy enough to go back into the world.
Okay. So,
and cleared
the vaccine, but you can still catch COVID.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we definitely both. I mean, we don't have our second shots yet, so we definitely could. But I mean, or do you have your second shot?
Yeah.
Okay. So he still could catch.
But you can still catch COVID after you took both shots.
Right.
Correct.
And
So
me not getting the shots.
So here's my
I
question.
can catch COVID, right?
Yes, but you are more likely to catch COVID than we are.
How am I more likely?
Because we have the shot.
No, you know why you would catch COVID? No, let me tell you why you would catch COVID.
What is the argument for you not getting the shot? What is the argument for you not getting the shot?
Because they're like, you can catch COVID, but if you don't wear a mask and you don't wash your hands and your gloves, you can still catch it. But listen,
no,
if I wear a mask,
just like you,
but if I wear my mask just like you, and I wash my hands and I keep gloves, I'm as least likely to catch COVID as much as you are. The only difference is we don't wear no protection.
No. There's
you're least likely to get it.
Phil, this is the difference, and I'll use the condom analogy because it's a brilliant one. This is the difference between if we had sex with the same girl and I wore a condom and you didn't, and somehow you ended up with a baby and you were like, "What the hell?" That's the difference. We're taking that. I might still end up with a kid, but I'll be like, "Well, that was bullshit. I did everything I could." But I did everything I could. So
what you're saying is you pretty much got on a COVID condom, and I'm going in raw.
You get a shot.
Exactly.
So I see what you're saying. So you're saying I got a COVID, like Tony has
you
a
got to put your condom on,
and I'm going in raw.
That was a way better example than I thought it was going to turn out to be, and I'm totally using that in conversation.
Yeah, it does make it like
it makes a lot more sense than I thought it
would. Like that's a good way to put it. Like you can still catch COVID if the condom busts, but like
you're more likely to not catch it if it doesn't.
But if you don't have a condom on,
like risk with the condom, why wouldn't you take that risk with your health? You know what I mean? Anyway,
that's a great one, Garrett. That was a great metaphor. That was great.
I hit or miss on those sometimes. That was a
good one.
All right, Tony.
Phil, what is your argument for not getting the shot?
Because I ain't about to have sex anyway. Like pretty much. Cover-wise. I'm still gonna wear my mask. Like I'm pretty much wearing the lamb skin. So and you're wearing the latex.
We're wearing the better condom, but like also not really.
You're still not wearing lamb skin. So pretty much if I do it, I can catch a disease, but I can't get them pregnant. You pretty much not either.
Is it gonna cost you money?
That's a really good argument right there.
No, but it's gonna hurt me though.
No,
it hurts for like a day.
Yeah,
and that's because I got stuck in the arm pretty good and tensed up really hard. It probably won't even be that bad for most people.
No, it hurt my arm too. Like my arm for
my arm hurt for like a couple days, but like
that's
it was
not. That is really not motivating me. Like, listen. My mom complained to me about, you need to get the vaccine. You need to get the vaccine. You need the vaccine. You need to get the vaccine. We all went and got tested. Negative me. Positive her and positive my stepdad.
They probably had it before they got vaccinated, I'm guessing.
No, it was like 3 weeks after they got vaccinated.
But they could still.
That doesn't mean they couldn't have had it before then. You could have had it for 2 weeks.
I might be lying.
There's no
even if it wasn't. Oh, by the way, I did have links.
You know what? It might have been less than a week. Matter of fact, it might have been like a week.
Again, there's still no guarantee you're gonna.
Well, if you get the vaccine, will you come up positive if you get tested after you take it? If it's like within a week?
No, because there's no, and I did research this. There's none of none of COVID in the vaccine.
But they're using the plasma from people who's had COVID before, and supposedly like asymptomatic.
And I also agree with this comment we got, which is that it's not really a vaccine. It essentially is gene therapy. Yeah, it is essentially what it is. You're genetically editing yourself slightly. Now, it's still a vaccine, guys. Let me just make that clear. I'm just making it clear for the audience. It is still considered a vaccine in that way, that it will protect you in the same way that it does edit your genealogy.
Listen, hold on. Let me clarify something real quick.
Okay.
The definition of a vaccine. Let's get this clear. The definition of a vaccine. Let me look this up real quick. I'm gonna tell you what the definition of a vaccine is. A substance used to stimulate the production of antibodies to provide immunity against one or several diseases prepared from the causative agent of a disease, its product, or a synthetic substitute treated to act as an antigen without inducing the disease. So a vaccine is supposed to give you it's supposed to give you an immunity. This does not give you immunity, so it is
that's
not
the one part thing. That was not. That's the one part of that thing though that you picked out that didn't line up with
defined. It's not defined.
The rest of that stuff though, all of it lined up with all three of the vaccines.
According to the American language, according to the American language and the definition, which is in the Webster's dictionary and on Google, it is supposed to give you an immunity. Immune means you can't catch. You can still catch this. The flu shot, this is not a flu vaccine. They say it's a flu shot. They don't say it's a flu vaccine. Do they say it's a flu vaccine?
No,
but it has the same effect as the corona vaccine. You have to take it again next year.
But now I agree. You're right. They probably shouldn't say vaccine because I used to say the same thing. I'm like, why use the word vaccine when seriously like that? If I get the chickenpox vaccine, I shouldn't catch it. If I get, polio, if I get a polio vaccine, I shouldn't.
They had a different term for this when I was younger. I want to say that was different. Maybe it wasn't.
That's right. Then they need to redefine.
Vaccination wasn't what I
they need to define what they're giving. A vaccine is a media. That's a media tool to use.
Yeah, it makes people understand more.
And it makes doctors that distribute the vaccines and the government gets paid money for these vaccines. They get paid for sick people, not for healthy people.
They buy the vaccines. Right. What?
You understand? Like the government if somebody had to cure the cancer, they wouldn't.
No, that's not. So, like for example, the government bought all these.
They get paid for sick people.
It's going out of your tax money. Granted, I'll give you that. So I guess you are kind of paying for it, but the government just straight up bought like a bajillion vaccines or whatever, like as soon as they could.
Yeah. Do you think they're not making money off these vaccines?
It's not like
the insurance companies.
Okay, but it's not like you're acting like there's doctors getting kickbacks for these vaccines. Doctors aren't the ones vaccinating people. It's nurses. It's people.
Can you get a vaccine without insurance?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, well.
That's why I said
it's not a money-based thing. It's you don't pay for it. We talked about that earlier.
Set up the appointment, go there, get the shot. They'll ask if you have insurance. But
they didn't even ask me for my insurance card, Tony.
Why would they ask me that if I don't need it? Just shoot me. I don't need to tell you if I have insurance or not.
Well, and this is my I think this is why.
Ooh, a COVID blowgun? COVID vaccine blowgun?
I think it's mainly so they
got him
updates. So like this stuff can be like updated because I go through Kettering. So they sent me messages saying like, "Hey, how you feeling? Hey, like your next shot's coming up." So that might be why, because then it went on like my permanent record of my health.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure they documented it for me in some degree.
You don't have to have health insurance to get it.
Nope. I think they asked for me, asked for my insurance card number when I signed up to do it, or when I was setting up my appointment, and they just probably, for documentation purposes. Because you probably will back pay it somehow in your insurance later or something. I don't know how it'll work, but
again, they want to see who's getting the vaccine.
Yeah.
Is it people that are insured, or is it people that don't have insurance, or again, that whole
and it'll change their approach to getting more people to do it. Yeah.
Stereotyping thing, like who gets more shots.
Yeah. I think there was also a big push because all those people of color, remember, we're having all the major problems with COVID and stuff like that. So there's a big push for people of color, I think, at the very
now
beginning.
Young people are getting COVID.
You know what I mean?
No, people of color were catching COVID, but that's all that was getting tested.
No. What I'm saying is there was a story very early on that if you got it as a person of color, you were more likely to have really bad effects from it or something like that. In a lot of poor communities, that was being noticed, and obviously poor communities disproportionately affect a lot of minorities in this country. You know what I mean? There was just a risk there because a lot lower immunity, lower health status.
Not seeing it as much, but
I don't know if it was that. I think it was just they're living in poorer conditions, so it's harder for them to not catch it.
No, it's not as much of public services.
Yeah, accurate. Yeah, probably. Yeah,
like the job I work at. I work with like special needs kids. People that have developmental disabilities. I take them out on a daily basis. Now, they've all been given the vaccines, but they're already sick. We go to all these facilities now that's just been opening back up of everything that's taking these vaccines and stuff, and they're more susceptible to being, hurt if they catch this. But like I say, the vaccine doesn't matter because if everybody's vaccinated, but even still with that, we still have to take everybody's temperature and make sure that nobody's sick because you have a fever. It doesn't matter if you have a COVID and you catch a common cold. It's like, I guess you have COVID 1999 because COVID-19 is still COVID-9 if you catch a regular cold. So I always think of it like this: if they can't find a cure for the common cold, why? How can they find it? Why we can't get a vaccine for the common cold? Like that's probably the biggest killer. Like the common cold would tear your ass up.
Because I would say
especially if you 50
it's
and older.
A complicated disease that they have done a lot of work on over the years.
COVID-19 is too.
But they didn't. But the difference is there's nobody out there shouting, we should deregulate all of the stuff that's preventing them from creating a vaccine. You know what I mean? Like
the common
no
cold.
one's saying that about the common cold.
People got used to it.
Oh,
people got used to it. Like I fight a cold, so they came up with all these medicines. You know why? Because the common cold makes the most money. They have NyQuil, they have Dayquil, they have all these medicines to fight the common cold. So that's a moneymaker. So they're like, well, we have the common cold, we making money off of this. Why add something else like COVID-19 is gonna make it obvious?
True.
I don't know. Like I did
because COVID-19 is the same thing. We're taking a cold, we're just taking a shot instead of going to go buy some NyQuil or like suppressing medications to try to.
You can't just go out and get vaccinated. You can't just go out and be like, hey, will you vaccinate me? Like twice in the same
flu
week.
Is a strong version of the common cold, but yet still they'll tell you get a flu shot, but they won't tell you you're getting a flu vaccination. And I want to talk about this because I want to die.
I also don't know that they're the same virus, but anyway, I don't know how true that is, but okay, so it's like 8:00. We do need to be wrapping up here. But did we want to talk about sports, or are we just gonna say
we'll wait until next week once all the decisions came in, because they were doing stuff like I'm still getting updates for things that
vitamin D it's too fast. Yeah, those are the reasons. By the way, if you guys are curious, these are the reasons we were talking about why there was a more disproportionate effect. Was vitamin D deficiency and mutating too fast to be able to be handled by what Phil was talking about with the local government not being there and obviously be able to do it. Anyway, so thank you guys, everyone that showed up tonight, and both thank you guys for being here as well, and we will see you all next time.